Divorce can be hot or cold, but it should not be a stigma. If your partner is making you feel less of yourself, whether you are a man or you are a woman, try talking it through. Maybe he or she will change. But if it is turning to something really toxic and turning into something really serious, please leave, because your happiness matters. There is nothing as important as your happiness. That's one thing you all should know. Nothing as important as your happiness. And when you are going through it, don't make it messy because of your children, because divorce plays a very, very big role in the life of the children. Divorce makes, like, it's a very big deal in the life of our children or in the life of children. So when you are going through divorce, do not make it messy. Let's watch the videos about divorce. Let's watch them.
Divorce is not good for the child, but staying in a chronically unhappy, conflicted, negative relationship is worse. When you go through a divorce, be really careful not to talk bad about the other person, because that child is half you and half them. If you're talking bad about their mother, they feel bad about themselves.
So like we have watched the video, and like I also said when I was starting, do not make divorce messy because of the children. This man said divorce is not good for a child, but he also said if it is getting worse, leave. Do not make it look like you have to be in this toxic marriage because of your child. You have to leave because your happiness matters. And do not forget, when you are leaving, like you said in the video, and like I also said at the beginning, do not make it messy because of your children. Let's watch the next video.
I can remember when I told my ex-husband I wanted a divorce. It was December 2019, and he was completely shocked. Completely caught off guard, like dumbfounded, devastated, everything else. But the month before that, November of 2019, I remember very clearly having yet another talk with him about how unhappy I was. But this particular conversation, he was in his man cave room playing video games, which was like his favorite activity. And I go walking in and I tell him, like, I really want to talk about our marriage. Like, I'm not happy. It feels like we're roommates at this point, and I don't really have a partner, blah, blah, blah. This man was wearing his headphones because he was playing with a friend and they like talked to each other. He didn't even take his headphones off. He just pulled it off his right ear. This is almost 4 years ago now. I can still remember he pulled it off his right ear. And he didn't pause the game or stop playing. He continued to play a video game while his wife was standing in front of him, telling him how unhappy she was in the marriage. And I remember when he said to me something about like marriage being forever and whatever. And I said to him, well, maybe some marriages aren't meant to last. And he got so mad at me for saying that. But he didn't stop playing video games to have the conversation with me. And if that doesn't perfectly sum up why I divorced this man, then I don't know what does. And I feel like this is a very common trend. I hear about this type of stuff a lot, where the wife had expressed her concerns for months or even years, and then when she finally says, all right, I've done everything I could do, I want a divorce, then the husband's like, what do you mean? What's happening? I love you. Please don't leave me. Please don't take my kids from me. It's like, bitch, you should have put in effort. You had the opportunity. We give you so many opportunities to do the right thing. You chose not to. This is now the repercussions of your actions. Am I wrong?
This video you guys watched, this woman was telling us that she tried to talk things out with her partner. Like, why she got a divorce, she tried to talk things out with her husband. But when she went with him, it felt like he was not even giving her a response. She said she wanted to talk to him. She was living with her husband, but it felt like she was living with a roommate. And which even led her to even going ahead with the divorce, because she even tried to talk things like, let me call you to talk to you. That's the first thing. I feel like that's the first thing. She's right. That's the first thing to do. If your marriage is not working out well, like I said before, if you notice that your marriage is not working out well, be it now, I'm not literally only talking to the ladies. I mean, it happens to the men too. So if your marriage is not working out well, you try to talk to your partner, let's try to fix this thing. But if you have done that and it is not working well, then the best thing for you to do is to leave. The video we just watched clearly showed how she was saying that she wanted to talk to her partner because it felt like she was living with a roommate, not her partner. But it did not end up well. And of course, she went ahead with the divorce. The next video we're about to watch now is talking about where a woman was saying why it is good to get married to a divorced man. Let's watch it.
Divorced men are the best type of men to date, in my opinion. And this is going off of experience and also being a divorcee. I find that divorced men are already made husbands. So it makes it so much easier, in my opinion, to date a man who's already been married, has been accustomed to being a husband, and has an idea of where he effed up at and knows what he's going to try to fix. Don't get me wrong, there are cons as well. The con is usually child support. It's usually co-parenting with the ex-wife. It could be things that he has to still work through that scarred him from his marriage before, because for some reason we think that men, they don't feel anything, but they go through just as much as we do when it comes to a divorce, obviously, unless they cheated. But we're not going to talk about those type of men, because not every man that's gone through divorce is a man that's cheated. There's a lot of really good men who wound up in divorce because their wives got bored, because maybe he wasn't doing things that she wanted him to do and they grew apart. There's so many reasons why a man can go through a divorce, and it has nothing to do with cheating. Because of that, this again makes him even more prone to be ready to just like fix it, especially if he's a man who actually enjoys being a husband, because there are men who love taking care of their woman. They take pride in that. Like I said, doesn't mean it's going to be perfect, but I found that divorced men are easier to date based off of what I was looking for. He had kids. He understood, legacy. He understood commitment. He understood all these things. My husband was divorced. I was divorced. So when we came together, we was like, it took us like much less time to identify we wanted each other, ask each other the proper questions, and say, you know what? You're going to be the person that I'm with. It's easy to do that when you've gone through a marriage and you know your strengths and your weaknesses. You know what your ex kept telling you need to work on. So you know what to work on. But again, it's my unpopular opinion. I think some people would rather run away from them. Personally, if you were my coaching client, I would tell you to snatch you a divorced man who did not go through divorce because of cheating.
So as we have watched this video, this lady is saying that it is good to get married to a divorced person because he has experience of how marriage looks like. But do you guys think it's true? Do you all agree with it's perfect to get married to a divorced person because you think he has had those kind of experience? And to think of it, she's a divorced person too. So do you guys agree with getting married to a divorced person? I mean, there might be issues why they divorced. You cannot just divorce somebody for divorcing sake. But I mean, there is something there. Don't you think you want to think about the reason why he got divorced instead of getting married to him because he has had experience? I mean, let's think about it. And I want you guys to talk about this one in the comment section. Just tell me how you feel about it. Do you think it is okay or right to get married to a divorced person? So this takes us to the next video where this woman is saying that if you're going to get married to somebody that is divorced, tell the person to show you the proof. Let's watch the video.
Ladies, y'all know how I feel about men that are separated from an ex, a baby mama, a wife, or even newly divorced. I do not believe any woman should deal with a man that's separated or fresh out of a divorce. Several reasons. But most of all, if you do decide to move forward with dating a man that's fresh out of a relationship or a divorce, specifically a divorce, do not be afraid to ask him to see proof of the divorce. Kindly and politely say, can I see a copy of your divorce certificate? Straight up, do not be scared to ask him this. He should be, if he really likes you, he should have no problem showing you proof of his divorce. Because we're living in a day and age right now where men and women, but more men, more so, are very deceptive. And even though they divorced their ex, they're not over her. I don't care how bad he talks about her. He still is emotionally, especially if they got kids. And if he starts talking bad about her, what a terrible wife she is, what a terrible mother, don't even listen. Let that be your last day. Get on up out of there, sis. Because anytime a man bashes his ex, he is still not over her. I don't care if he's divorced or not. No man, if he should be at a peaceful place with his ex. They should be civil and cordial to each other. They should be able to co-parent peacefully. And if he really likes you, he should introduce you to the ex-wife so that everybody is on the same page. It's going to be a blended family type of thing. But when he acts like he's got something to hide, and if he acts funny, if you ask him to see proof of that divorce, the divorce certificate, you got your answer. He's hiding something, or he doesn't want you to connect with his ex-wife because he's not done fucking with her or trying to, get back in with her even after the divorce. And if he's a narcissist, ladies, listen to me, because I've heard many stories of women who have divorced a narcissist, and the narcissist was able to convince the woman to remarry him. So narcissists will remarry their ex-wives. It's very real. Never get too comfortable with a man that's newly divorced or going through a separation. Don't even fuck with it, y'all. I'm telling you, it's not worth the headache. But you got to let him know that you're on your investigative shit. You got to let him know from the gate. You're going to find out. And if he's got any hidden babies, you're going to find that out too. Smarten up, ladies. Men will say anything to sleep with you and lock you down and put you on the shelf with all the other victims and go back to their ex-wives.
I mean, people think they can actually play mind games or do things like without thinking about others. There are some people that will literally tell you they are divorced, but they are not. They'll still be with the other lady or with the other man, co-parenting, but separated, but not divorced. But they'll say they are divorced. I think that's why this lady is telling us that if you want to get married to somebody that claims to be divorced or that is divorced, ask for the proof of the divorce. Ask for the proof. I find this really funny because you have to ask for the proof. It's actually going to be funny telling you that the guy or the lady telling you that they're divorced and then you're asking for the proof of the divorce. Of course, you have to ask for I support that you should ask for the proof of the divorce, because nowadays people just separate and they co-parent and they tell you that they are divorced, whereas they are not divorced. And I'm sure so many of you guys might have had experience. So I want you guys to drop it in the comment section if you've ever gotten married to somebody that claimed is a divorced person but is not divorced. Let's watch the next video.
So here you are. Everything's just in shades of gray. It's black and white. Everything of meaning in your life, of depth in your life, of value in your life, you now look at in shades of gray. And what's the number one thing that most men who end up getting divorced end up finding out after the fact? Well, it's that they took something that made them who they were in such a big part of their life, and they took advantage of that very thing, took it for granted, and until it was finally gone and slipped through their fingertips, they realized what they lost. Don't be that man where it's too late and you think that you found something better or think that you'd be better off, only to come to find out that what you thought was better wasn't even good. And you look back on what was good, and what was good found better. Don't wait till it's too late, when you're in a position where you're wishing you could go back in time and you scream to yourself, why? Why'd I let myself down? I wish I could go back in time and change the way I acted. If I could you look back with hindsight bias, knowing what I know now, I never would have did what I've done. And then the guilt, the remorse. Why are you waiting to hit that stage? And then the guilt right? The self-loathing that comes from that, beating yourself up, the self-criticism, the self-defeat. And then what happens is you look at your life in shades of gray, and this dark cloud just follows you around. And brother, if you're there right now, I want to let you know, you don't have to stay there. That doesn't have to be your existence. Are you tired of living, or are you tired of not living? Are you tired of just existing? Just, right, slugging through the day and not really finding, again, your edge. Let's help you get your edge back. Let's help you find that inner man. Let's align that inner man. Let's excavate. Let's align that inner man so he can find passion and purpose again in his life. Let's crack open that inner man and help him activate his real identity. Make that identity shift. That's what you need. You're stuck in this old version of you. You need to burn that man away. Stop putting on the old man's clothes and expecting to feel good. Stop putting on that old man's clothes and expecting, right, to look in the mirror and like what you're seeing. Brother, it doesn't fit you anymore. It's not who you are. This is a different season. And you gotta hope and know, right, that you can harvest something later on. But right now, you gotta plant. You gotta plant those seeds, and you gotta have faith. This is a test. You're walking through this. This is a season. The university of adversity. What's the admission? What's the cost of the admission? What's the price of admission? Is the pain you're feeling right now and your ability to overcome it. Never look down on where you're at right now, bro. Because we grow through what we go through. And this trial right now, this divorce that's happening right now, this separation, this moment, this place that you're in, stop looking at your life in shades of gray, brother. There's life in it. There's a lot of light in it. There's a silver lining there. Maybe this didn't happen to you. Maybe it happened for you. Maybe it gave you an opportunity to prove to yourself who you really are.
So the video we just watched now is just telling us how some men took their relationship for granted and then they divorced. Then after the divorce, they are realizing it. Like they are coming to their senses that I should have not done this. This thing should have not happened. I should have not divorced this person. This is actually so weird because like the first video we watched where the lady was trying to talk things out with her partner, like trying to meet her partner to talk things out with. Why is this thing happening this way? Why is this thing happening this way? But then the other partner is not trying to listen. And then after everything, after you divorce, you are now going back to reflect and wanting. There are so many cases of people that are divorced and then the other partner, be it men or women, wants to go back to the relationship. Why? Because they did not think things through. There are some things that can be sought with communication. Some just happen because of miscommunication. Some just happen because they don't communicate well or they did not sit down to talk about the issues. They just decided that, okay, the next thing for us to do is to divorce, which is not so. So this video was just trying to tell us that people that divorce, men that divorce, the man was saying, some men that divorce and then they took their relationship for granted and they just had to divorce and now they're wanting to go back. Some of you guys might have been in that position. So I'm just telling you guys, communication is key. If you're having any issue, just try to talk to avoid miscommunication. Let's watch the next video.
Why get a divorce after 25 years of marriage? The short answer is because it is not too late to be happy. And I finally got to a point at the beginning of the year where I decided that it wasn't too late to be happy. I still have, hopefully, many more years left, and I would like to be happy for those years. And that was never going to happen inside my current marriage. No matter how many wonderful people, supportive people, positive people you surround yourself with, it will never have as much of an impact if you have toxic people in your home. And the two most toxic people in my life, two most toxic adults in my life, live in my home with me right now. And my husband was definitely someone that sabotaged all of my efforts to try and get healthy, to try and feel better, to be more successful, to be happy. I don't know whether it was intentional or not, and it really doesn't matter at this point. I want to be happy. I want to be hopeful. I want to surround myself with people and experiences and success and love and peace that I will never be able to find if I stay married. And so we're getting a divorce, and the best way I can really describe that experience of 25 years, it's like climbing or riding in a roller coaster to the highest peak, and it's just one click at a time, one thing at a time, and then you finally get to the top, and that's the tipping point. There is no going back. There's nothing to fix, no desire anymore to try and fix things. You've already put in that effort, and it's a free fall to a new life and new experiences, and I am so looking forward to those. And so today I am really grateful for the new experiences I am about to have, because I am going to be able to surround myself with wonderful people and amazing experiences. So please tell me what you are grateful for today.
Okay, so the video that was just played, this man, she's just basically saying it's not too late to be happy. Imagine getting divorced after 25 years of marriage. She's saying that she had to, just imagine the things she had to endure for 25 years. But at last she came out of it. I'm telling you watching, it is never too late to get out of the marriages that do not make you happy. Your happiness matters. I said it before. Your happiness should be your priority. Do not care. Some people care about the society, what they would say. Some people care about what people are going to say because you are living your marriage. But come on. That should be the least you should be worried about. It's never too late to be happy. Be it 50 years, be it 35 years, be it 20 years. It's never too late to be happy. Okay, so now let's watch this video where these men share their experiences about divorce. Let's watch it.
The fortunate truth for a man is that when he goes through devastating situations, traumatic situations in his life, there's zero empathy for him. There's no empathy for a man who spends months, weeks, years in jail because of false allegations by his ex-wife or his ex-girlfriend. There's no empathy for a man who gets his kids ripped away from him because of lies by his ex-wife. There's no empathy for a man who gets his entire life taken away, everything he worked his entire life for, because of lies by his ex-wife. The only empathy that man will get is the empathy from men who have gone through the same situation. Those are the only men who will ever understand what that man has gone through, because the rest of the world can't fathom having that happen to them. They can't wrap their head around it. As men, we're supposed to just take it. We're supposed to deal with it and just keep going and rebuild and re-put our life back together. There's no time for healing. There's no time to take care of ourselves because you have bills to pay. Why is there no empathy for men? I've had my entire life taken from me because of a few sentences. No empathy. In fact, I'm working my ass off to give empathy to other men because I understand what it's like to go through what I've gone through. I understand the loneliness, the darkness. I understand how bad it is when a man loses everything and cannot understand why. I mean, come on here talking about what about your ex-wife? What about her? I must have done something horrible to have this all done to me, right? No, it's not always the case. Some women are just evil. Some women are vindictive. And some women want to ruin men for no reason at all. And that's the truth. And I know it's hard for some people to swallow, but that is the truth. There are extremely vindictive women out there who, because their father was a piece of shit, and they have father issues. And I know we don't want to believe that. We want to believe that women are great and women don't do any harm, but that's just not the truth.
My father told me something when my first marriage, when we split up. I was 22. I got married at 18. And he was like, why are you guys splitting up? And I was like, oh God, she's this and she's that. And it's been tough for this. And, you know, it's really challenging for this matter of her. He had said, how much percentage would you say of your divorce is on you and how much is her? And I was like, it's probably 90% her.
Wow.
And he said, okay, you spend the rest of your life working on your 10%.
Yes.
Or the 5%. It's probably 50%. But even if you think it's only 10%, spend every day only focused on you and not her 90%. That's not going to serve you. Because then you can become better for your next part of life. And oftentimes we don't do that.
I didn't think I was ever going to get married again. My first marriage was really, really tough. And there's a reason why it ended in a divorce. When I met Kylie, she was so cool. She was such a unicorn that I just thought, man, I've got to close the deal. But I was smarter and a little bit wiser. So when I went into my marriage with her, my second marriage, having learned from the first one, I just made sure to start off with some really clear expectations, or at least a really clear understanding of where I was at. So she knew what she was signing up for. I said, look, when we were talking about marriage, I said, I will do anything for you. I will go to the moon and back for you. I will freaking catch a bullet for you. I will treat you like a queen. I will take care of you, but I will never be a bitch for you. I will never, ever let you treat me like anything less than a king, because I'm going to treat you like a queen. I'm going to take care of you. But if you ever try to treat me like something less than a king, I'm out. I'm breezing. I'm not going to be around. I think that just set the trajectory for a whole marriage, that I was no longer going to be in a position where I was going to take disrespect, ever, from somebody that was close to me. And if somebody felt like they could disrespect me, that was going to be my cue to leave.
So as we have watched this video, I hope we took something to learn from it. Your happiness is your priority. Your happiness is your priority. You should be the first person in your mind to take care of and to care about. Do not stick in that marriage if you're not happy with it. Try to communicate with your partner and see if things could work out. It's never too late to be happy. Whether it's 25 years of marriage, talk to your partner. It might be miscommunication, but if it gets worse, try to leave and separate. Getting a divorce is not a stigma. Getting a divorce is not a stigma. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. So do not forget to join me on the next episode. See you guys later. Bye.